Alright, people. Manners respect people. Manners respect people. Get the good part out first. Manners respect. Welcome. Thank you guys for on a subscription. Thank you for the subscription. My YouTube channel, I tell me all of this detailed stuff. So I want to thank everybody everywhere who contribute, because you know say it's little things make the whole thing work. And this is what they say, that the audience them are engaged. Audiences are engaged. So what I like to thank the people them who stop by. All of the people them I give a shout out. All of the people them I share. And I don't know them things that much love and much appreciated, right? And the program them just I get more interesting and more detailed. Because the people them I find and the people them who I represent, seriously. Yesterday it was Mr. Patterson speaking on Marcus Garvey, and Marcus Garvey died of a broken heart. And Mr. Lee said, you can't say the man died of a broken heart, because the man was well respected. He have a lot going for him. He accomplished a lot. Yes, him get sell out. That's one of the things where him could have passed off from. But me look upon it as disappointment, because the things that were him accomplished in a film lifetime, make other people inspired by this man. So how can that be a broken heart? That's a disappointment. That's a total disappointment. For no, so look, imagine. I'm going through all of them stuff here. I can see enough people come before, and talk and try educate and put us on the right path for each other. But most of the time it's the same people them are the people them I fight for. Are the same people them I turn on and box them up. When I say look on the blueprint that's already blue memory, look on the path that's already set for us. It wasn't set easy, but it was set on a level where it was attainable for us too. It's an attainment where we are supposed to be always trying to reach that level of betterment. Okay, so people, there's something that I usually find to educate and to talk about are the things that I deem important. This program, the man them, when you hear the man them reason, right? And this is what I'm talking about. It's when we have a conversation, we can't talk about any topic, you know. We don't have to scream and holler at each other when we are communicate about anything. Some topic it touch it to some people, yes. But if people understand, say, if we are trying to get to a path, it's not gonna be easy, it's not gonna be smooth. But the main objective is for us to understand it's not a discussion of hurt or a discussion of blame, a discussion of condemnation. You see, once we reach them spot, it not gonna work out. So it's either we start over with some agreement and out to our conversation, or we just stop. Because me tell you, so when I listen to people to some platform, it's not a communication. It's who can shout the loudest, who can say the most. So this is what I'm say over here. So this is how I'd like it to be. We can communicate, conversate, talk about anything without we shouting and screaming and disrespecting each other. And if anybody thinks that that's what I'm about, I'm not about the shouting, disrespecting. Yes, me get excited anytime I hear all them people here, all them live them life and all them set a standard. But it's not no disrespectful when I say it's never about disrespecting people, because people can do that so easily. Now, if you take everything a person said disrespectfully, you're taking it personally. So these people, I said, what I'm talk about is Haile Selassie I. And that's one of the person I did want to talk about too, because everything, in every cases, person have their opinion, people have their feelings in how they perceive a person. So 10 people, 8 people saying good, 2 people are going to saying bad. 10 people, 8 people are going to saying bad, 2 people are going to saying good. It's never 100%. That's why I say it has to be collective thinking to accomplish anything. So these again, them are going to introduce themselves. So the topic is Haile Selassie I. And I'm one of the people that I say, I hear many stories about Haile Selassie I. I hear good and I hear bad. But the main objective is for us to understand. The people them in a for them time, the people in a for them situation, right? We can sit and talk about it now in a critical way and say, well, him should have do this and him should have do that. But meanwhile, we're sitting here criticizing something that exists already. We should be doing something for ourselves to say, well, at least I did this. So if this is the angle video I do, I'm going to say, okay, on this video, we're talking about Haile Selassie I and how other people see him. Because everybody has their opinion. As we proceed, this channel, again, I'm telling you the channel that I'm going to get it, I never knew. And I tell you about the thumbs up thing on the channel them. The good channels them don't get a lot of rating. So this has 19,000 views and 745 likes. So again, the basic things we're supposed to help promote are the things that we don't. That's why I say I am asking for people to share the content that I create, comment, and like. So I could hear the men reason again. There's so much difference. Yeah, we're gonna bring on we're gonna bring on one day where the people them is straight and we can say, okay, is this arguing? Maybe we should do that. Okay, listen to this. Is this arguing? Is this we make a decision, right? What's the difference between reasoning and arguing? So these big man them are gonna introduce themselves because me say it's usually professor and them people there when me want to highlight people what that actually makes sense, right?
To have these special guests with us, the brilliant D-IEASYJERK Kwasi, the brilliant Dr. K. Adamawi Knife, the brilliant Honorable Priest Isaac, and the Honorable Priest Kailash. We give thanks for everyone being here. Farai, big up yourself. We're going to get right into the reason. Anyone feel free who wants to start. But the first question we want to, first topic we want to discuss is Haile Selassie I made a powerful historical speech to the UN, and it seems that the topics that he covered during that speech are even more relevant today in these modern times, especially on the issue of human rights violation. So anyone feel free who wants to start to speak about that. Take the stage.
Take the stage with a camera. Okay, fine. I'm gonna tell the people and watch the people them sing things so they can get them credit. Me keep on stressing that, right? So when me get it now, me can just not say just give them flowers and use them content as educational purposes.
Take the stage.
Yes. All right. So, device is ancient. See? That is something I have particular interest in because you know that every time people find themselves in a crisis situation, they're looking at models for solution. And I remember clearly Haile Selassie I making some sound, especially to Africa, which is manifesting today that all Africa is looking outside of itself for solutions when all Africa need is within itself. And we'll see where a lot of those young youths now who would have been younger youths when leaders of the OAU in the 1960s, you can see all some of the principles and ideas from that time is being manifested by some of these youths in them current governance in Africa when I take over them country. But I think most important though to why is the speech in signatory where MCM must focus on two key elements, which is disarmament, and we are talking about nuclear disarmament at the time, but more importantly, equity and equal rights among men throughout earth. And you see that everything today that is being advanced by those global organizations like the United Nations, that are things like the Sustainable Development Goals, or them looking at environmental and social governance as a benchmark for good governance practices. Those they can see still reflecting all of these things about zero hunger, zero poverty, equality amongst gender, access to sanitation, access to water, all the things we're speaking about in terms of how nations were dealing with nations in an inequitable manner need to be. Yeah, you need to adjust those. And in admission, in warn the UN as well that if the United Nations fail to live up to those covenants that they've signed within the United Nations that's supposed to support equity and equality amongst people throughout earth, it is going to become irrelevant and find itself in danger, which is what you see happening now. Because the United Nations, this is not no romanticism, because we're not no Roman, But I show you how from the 1960s, these were seen as challenges that needed to be addressed. And because of failure to act then, just as how they was failure to act in 1936, where the League of Nations became redundant, the United Nations find itself in a lot of being challenged a lot. That's the things we are going on some other countries like we are going to kill that Palestine. People talking about what's happening.
Far, anyone else want to jump in? Why knife? Connection come back.
Sorry, I don't know if it's mine. That's my internet just now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. So, all right. So let's wrap this quickly. So we look at what's happening amongst those nations in the earth and people talking about wars, etc. Just go forward to do a speech. Because I started the speech by saying that man have to move past even the ideology of nations. Because they become a new race where you know, say, but your commitment is to the development of all humankind. Those are the things that they are promoting now at these global levels in the global discussions. Of course, and incorporate the whole idea of the environment. So I find that Haile Selassie speech in 1963 is something that we need to revisit, you know, and just be reminded of some of these things that you know they are very important if any nation is going to move forward. And the globe as well.
Anyone else want to jump in?
Rastafari. Blessed love again, you know. So let me just give thanks for being here, you know, give thanks.
I see they say all the Rasta man them say the same thing. Be less. Me not understand how it's so important for we always say that to each other. And right in the middle of the word, it said the meaning right there, so it's a command. It's a command for us to be less. So even when we say the Rasta man them who don't even believe in the Bible, them must say it too. That not strange. That is really strange. Enough things me tell you, so me look upon and I say, wait there, so how I go on here so? How this I go on here so? But as we proceed, because me tell you, so this is a long video, because and you see how them just take them time and attack, them now fight over them, you know what I'm saying? Them now scream over them one another. As we proceed, people.
Yeah, you know, give thanks for each and every one on the panel. You know, very esteemed panel, as you said, you know, give thanks for I Never Knew TV. Well, nobody can say they never knew right now, you know, by now everybody knows what's going on. But still give thanks to I Never Knew TV. But we know now. We know now for sure. Give thanks for all the works that the brothers have been doing, and others who I'm sure are behind the scenes. You know, I'm sure they're not just brothers but sisters. So just give thanks for all those who are contributing to, you know, the mission that has been taking place, my Lord and Majesty. And give thanks to the full panelists. Give thanks, you know, Dr. Kadamawe Knife. It's an honor, you know, my Lord, to be on the same panel even with D.I. You know, the first time I even heard of D.I., it's my esteemed brethren, you know, the Honorable Priest Kailash, who even told me of D.I., but then that was years ago, you know. And then after coming across who D.I. is, and I would have taken in a lot of your information to and works and outlooks. I'm very thankful to even being with D.I. and of course give thanks to the Lion voice. I see the Lion getting a lot of voice, a bigger voice, my Lord. So it's just a joy as well to even be with D.I. and them. And of course, my Lord Honorable Priest Kailash, you know, thanks for and I coming together on this platform again to proclaim the words of right. So you know, there's an honor and blessing to the congregation. Since we're speaking of, you know, the speech 1963, you know, in all reality, I don't think everyone knows the speech by heart. So I just want to highlight a few paragraphs of it. I know most ones can relate to it, of course, in the song War that Bob Marley would have sung, and we do give thanks for the ancestor for even, you know, that works, which would have at least promoted the very important speech.
You see? Promoting a very important speech. And that may try show you it not take much for we highlight the things we are going around we know. Right? It's communication because I tell you so the spider web is already there and we not connect it. So yes, Haile Selassie I pass off, but again the way the people them talk about the man's accomplishment, it's worth remembering. It's worth highlighting because there's many things we can learn from revisiting these situations. Manners respect. Good afternoon, Miss White. So this is what I say. When we highlight the greatness of these people, right? We are doing our job, right? We're doing our job by highlighting these people who did a great job already. So it not take much for we highlight them people. Yeah. Yes.
One race superior and the other inferior is finally destroyed, etc. Most people know that. And that's just one aspect of the speech given in 1963. But as Dr. Knife was highlighting,
yes, enjoy your afternoon.
The whole aspect of that speech is what we see playing out today. A lot of what the world has as principles, as some brethren that we have on Rasta Roundtable said. Interestingly, when Haile Selassie gave the speech to the League of Nations, not the UN now, but the League of Nations in 36, he actually brought morality to the world stage. And that's a very deep concept. You know, of course, ones already had, rules and laws and bylaws. But when the emperor really came to the forefront with that level of diplomacy, advocating for collective security, it was as if morality entered the world stage. And it's a deep concept when you look at it. So I'm saying that to even bring it forward to the speech in 1963, which would jump from 1963 to the time that we are living in now. When you hear one speaking about disarmament, as Dr. Knife would have just mentioned, all of this comes directly from the principles of Haile Selassie, and even this address that was given in 1963. Let me just read here, and my quote from the King's speech. Today I stand before the global organization that has succeeded because of the abandoned facet left by its discredited predecessor. The principle of collective security that I invoked in Geneva in vain is protected in this body. Here, listen to this, here in this assembly rests the best, perhaps the last hope for the peaceful survival of mankind. In 1936, I declared that it was not the League alliance that was at stake, but international morality. Promises, I said then, they are of little value if you lack the will to maintain them. And again, anyone could do their own research and go through the speech itself. In conclusion for this aspect, what we need to do, even for the family listening and watching, a lot of His Majesty's political or Ethiopia's diplomatic stance at that time, especially as Rastafari, sometimes we're so deep in the religion and the theology, we overlook the diplomacy of Ethiopia at the time. Many ones are not even aware that Israel backed Mengistu, so-called Israel, the Israeli, backed Mengistu and the Derg when they, in their hand of trying to, take over Ethiopia, because Haile Selassie was totally against the so-called Falashas, which are the better Israel people, leaving Ethiopia to go to the place that they call Israel. Now, a lot of people are not aware of that. And the Zionists had this plot to take the better Israel people out of Ethiopia in the same way they want to take the Lemba people out of South Africa too, and tell them, come with us, so that they can suck on their pure blood but Haile Selassie was totally against it. Haile Selassie fought strong against Zionism. But when Mengistu and these ones came in, they got the opening, and that's where you had Operation Moses and Operation, I think it's Solomon and these things. But I will yield for that moment and give thanks again. Selassie I, Rastafari.
Honorable Kailash.
I look silverish, you know. The Jacques Kwesi, I think that I could go ahead before I will come in after.
Yes, all right. Greetings. First and foremost, let me just greet everyone in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I I, and say glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen Empress Waziri Menen. It's a great honor to sit on this esteemed panel with ones that I have been following their journey and being inspired by their journey. And I think there's no better time for this panel than right now, because World War III has started. And for those who are looking at this from a prophetic angle, you know, when you talk about His Imperial Majesty, Lion of the tribe of Judah, on the throne of David, going to international body, he's the highest law according to the church, also being the head of the Orthodox Church, highest legal authority on earth, you can call it that. So, you know, when he's coming to the world body, it has additional weight. And this speech is really the chance, you know, this is the last chance. This is laying out the stakes for mankind. The commandment was to beat the spear into plowshare, because he talks about disarmament and he talks about equality of man. So this is the highest legal authority coming to the world. And this is also the speech where he talks about peace is not a is. It's a becoming. You know, that peace is a series of decisions and events. So he's coming to the earth now to establish this peace on earth that, you know, man has chased this elusive peace. He talks about what nuclear war could do. Nuclear energy could accomplish for man. This has never before been at the hands of man. These tools, all of the tools for the manifestation of Eden, or that heaven on earth, exists currently for man to harness. He also talks about the weapons, if the amount of money spent on armaments. This was a call, this was an appeal to the Illuminati, to all of the secret society, to the elites, to the royals. This was an appeal to them. We know that what the item I deal with, it burn a fire upon Portugal and South Africa directly. But this was an appeal for them to do the right thing. And this is why this is such a dangerous time for us, because a lot of time people assume the leaders of today don't know what they're doing, or that they're inept, or that they're stupid. I wouldn't take that. You have to realize these are people in rebellion against what His Majesty has laid out. So it's a very dangerous time for us. And one of the things I want to touch on this panel is some of the solutions. I don't want us just to come and talk about, because we have to prepare the people. I think we have a job to do as ones who study His Majesty, who, you know, hear what he had to say about agriculture being the prerequisite for industrialization, all of the, you know, he gave us the blueprint to establish a new world order. Not the new world order of Babylon, which is an evil order, but an order where all of the nations can live in harmony. He gave us the layout. So this speech is all about that. I want to reason about it, but you know I am long-winded. And that is why I'm going to just pause right there, so that my family can come in, and then I'll come forward again.
Hey.
I give thanks for life and a mighty life, people, and give thanks for, you know, all our elders that's here with us, and our young brethren and them that's here with us also. And one of the things that's lacking within our community is just humility to accept mentorship, you know, and just to to accept leadership. And even in the emperor's time, the emperor was offering that level of leadership to the world. And even in the present time that we are living right now, it is not that I would have loved to pass whatever I learn on to someone. And I'm sure that the professor would love to do the same. And, he's doing it for the government of Jamaica, setting up the whole economic infrastructure for the country. It is that, are the people themselves, our young people, are they oriented in a way whereby they could just gravitate, to that, the works and the words of love of Rastafari. As Rastafari in every essence is like a real title. So when the emperor, I'll just go to the conclusion of the speech, right? And he said, well, we must become something we have never been, and for which our education and experience and environment have poorly prepared us for. We must be bigger than we've ever been, bravest, bigger in spirit and clearer in perspective. We must be members of a new race.
Okay. And when him said new race, that's the transformation from being a human to a being. Because me talk about the caterpillar and the butterfly, them don't know each other. But them do the necessary things for the success of both. For real, So when them people talk about them, the levels that we could reach, we're not there yet. We're not reach a level, half the level where we can reach. I talk about the Maxwell and Sambuto where invent the car with no. That's our ability to do them things there, to create things that goes against what everybody thinks about us, right? So this is me tell you, said these great men before us, they had a vision not just for one people but for the race. As we proceed,
overcoming small prejudices because of our ultimate loyalty, not to stocks, but to our fellow men within the human community. So sometimes I will tell my fellow Rastafari brethren and them that, and not really on them thing like as if it's just a Rasta thing, and just on a Rasta thing. It's critical that we are on a humanity level, that we visualize and we operate on a humanity level, a level without boundaries, a level without no separation, to actually be able to manifest that level of purity that the emperor himself, the divine, the God himself came and speak.
You hear, people? That level of purity. What I talk about? Free your mind to come to a way where we can all have a gathering of good people. That missing, the society of good people. That me I tell you, so there's so much we have. What we can't create the things that were necessary for we create. It's just so funny. So the simulation is so real, me I tell you, people. This is why I say, me always think. I love it. Okay, as we proceed, people, because I tell you, so these knowledge and wisdom where the people, them professors and great people talk about, we people think about it like say it can't be attained. Oh man, it's only them people are. And so we separate ourselves from them people to us. Because them people is us. The greatness does exist within us. Go and speak, professors.
and speak to these people with. And if it is that we really have to prepare ourselves, as he said, you have to remove yourself from petty prejudices, you know. So it is even firstly purging ourselves of our own inferiority complex to self. Because I remember telling, you know, JR, I won't call you the bald head, you know, brother, because you're a Rasta man, right? And I remember telling him, when I personally stopped treating white people better than black people, I was still a Rastafari. I had locks, everything already, and, you know, I had beard, and I was still treating white people better than black people as a Rastafari. You know, so when we say overcome petty prejudices, it is not only something extrinsic, it is also intrinsic.
Okay, you hear that? So even even though him is a Rasta, him still never practice free mind. So this is why I say, even when I go do the research on Rastafarianism, the people them when they said that before, the true Rastafari them have a certain levity that is different compared to the people them where just say them are Rasta. From the food where them eat, how them dress, and how them respect each other. So I'm telling you, say it's internal most time. The problem we have, most of the problem we have are internal issues. As we proceed,
something extrinsic, it is also intrinsic. How is it that we as a people could stop seeing ourselves inferior, you know, and then see ourselves as equals to everyone else on the world stage, and to basically embrace humanity? You know, in my field of healing, I had to develop compassion. You know, compassion was something that just comes naturally with healing. You have to feel, you know, compassion no matter what someone is or what they do.
oh, you see? And again, you see when I say you have to have something to, like, you have to have something to do something. You have to be a good person to do good. You know what I say? It's connected. So when we talk about them little things here, right? It's what we're supposed to have to make us a better person. You don't have to be a healer, but having compassion heals. He says that. So having compassion heals. So when when we listen and understand certain things, when people have conversations, it's different from when you argue, because when you argue, there's no solution, there's no understanding of it. It's just a bag of noise. Literally. It's annoying to hear that. It's like one person sing off key, like if me supposed to start singing. Yes. We know say AI, even AI I go run with. Because I'm not versed in singing. So there's no verse in arguing. Understand? As we proceed, people, come tell us say it's these things, it's getting within ourselves, reasoning and understanding with each other that gets these things out.
Compassion, no matter what someone is or what they do. You know, when another one might say fire burn, you know. I am the man that most times would have to deal with the same set of people that everyone who people in fire on. You know, so I think that it is critical that when we visualize the work that is to be done, it is not solely just a work that focus upon us and even people that look like us, but it is appealing to the goodness and the God spirit that lies within humanity, you know, and seeing how is it that we could connect, right, ourselves forward to the navel string of our Creator, that level of goodness and love.
And I love how they mentioned the human aspect of the whole thing too, because on a real levels, when I really sit down and meditate the speech in 1963, it really ironic to I say at the same year the OAU farm, which was earlier in the same year. So it's like it really implied this to most ones and ones that leading by example is very important, because you lead by example. The formation of OAU in a May, which is that is leading towards African unity, and then when dimensional the conclusion of the speech now, which is becoming members of a new race. Okay, I become a member of a new race without first setting unification within the presence of Africans. That is the starting point of it. So I feel like when it comes to the sense of Haile Selassie I and practicality and leading by example is one thing where most ones and ones will overstand, say, along the journey of Haile Selassie I, as they keep on evolve during different stages of Ethiopia, during different stages of how the world is reacting towards the truths and rights. You will find, say, it's an exemplary type of thing they set, which is a model left to be followed by ones and ones. By doing, and once you do, then
you see, a model left. You see, it's like them build a bridge for a crossover. Okay. Side note: this is why I say I put the minus for my sauce buckle, right? That's why I say everything when I do me think about it. It's a separation from the other company them will make salt in a them product. And it's also a bridge for you to bridge yourself from what you're doing to something new. So when we create everything, I create it with meanings and understanding. But many people don't choose to understand. The choices that they make, it just become a bad choice, and they keep on making bad choice because they accept that. Just like the lie. If you keep on lying, right, you're going to accept, say, okay, lie is the truth. In your mind, as we proceed, people, because I tell you, it's refreshing when you got you learning and understanding things and seeing the issues. And the issues is not just in one book or one speech. It's overall liberty.
Model left to be followed by ones and ones. By doing, and once you do, then you can give that direction. But in the context of human rights violations that are taking place today, I really want to ask them how we see that fit into the whole puzzle of the human rights violation taking place today. It's still connected towards the speech and the warning that they give. And I feel like if the world did truly listen, then the world wouldn't really in this situation where it's in right now. So I really would like them to shine some light on that portion of the thing, you know?
Alright, watch out, brother. You see, it's important when you just highlight about what was happening with the OAU, because remember that the part that people know the most, which when Haile Selassie I say, until the philosophy.
For a big company, small company.
And when I watch it to them, I never hear so much commercial, you know what? Again, the more the programs them get watched, the more commercial I will get attached to the programs, right? And that's good. That means that people are watch them. And people are here and are listen to understand. As we proceed.
Philosophy. Just before that it states, and I ask my brother for read it, because I think it's very important for people to listen that full part of that speech, because the Bob Marley song have about 2 or 3 of the elements that were captured in the speech as instructions. So I think people need to hear it. But it was that, as I say, clearly say that this is what African nations have to say unto the world. So that speech was not a speech of Haile Selassie, it was a speech of the OAU to the rest of the world. You know, very, very important. And it was in 1963, which was at the heart of the civil rights movement. And that was not just a movement in the United States, it was being done in the United States, but that was about what was happening within mankind at the time, which much hasn't changed. And what them?
Okay, so that was the heart of the civil rights Where's the soul? Where's the body? Where's the rest? Where's the head? Where's just the heart alone? That's all? That's all, the heart alone? Come on, people, for real. Make we talk now. So if the movement start out of the heart of all of us, did it end with in the heart of all of us? Because me not see like the movement. I tell you, it's Black History Month, right? But if how much programs are dedicated like an hour or anything to say refresh pan what's what's popping in social media, TikTok, what's trending, black heroes on TikTok. How come we not see them things there? Because you see, if it doesn't get highlighted in the month, wait for get highlighted. You think it will get highlighted after the month end? Or people just are go say, well, move on to sensational and TikToker, where we are anyways. And me say it already, there's nothing wrong with over there, so no. But I'm just saying, balance it out, put some good content over there, so some good content over here, so make it run in the algorithm. As we proceed, people.
Much hasn't changed. And what them doing now, them trying to use this idea of a plural society to try to suggest, say, that is equal rights. But it's more about equity, But those things still very, very, very important. So the ideas of how you mainstream, and that's the language I'm used in the research discipline, We are going to mainstream gender, we are going to mainstream youth, we are going to mainstream climate change. We identify these things as goals. Now we need to end poverty, we need to end hunger, and all those things are there. There's the languages that I'm using now. So if you look at any of those documents surrounding from the Millennium Development Goals coming to the SDGs and many other documents before, you will see that the same ideas presented in that speech in 1963 replicated through many of these documents. And I think what is more important as well, though, is the fact that Haile Selassie I showed the ones that if we do have the support, which is really implement these things in a meaningful way, what we see manifesting today is going to manifest.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying though. The same thing, if we don't change it, and this what the man said, this is why he was trying to say, okay, if we implement these changes, it can change the future. These changes will have an effect on the future. So this is why I say when we were educated, we were making changes. When we work as team, we did not make change. It's there in our history, in our story.
I think it's important to actually read it though. That's the audience. Hear it. And I have a book. I have the speeches electronically, so JR, I can just send that to there as well and see if we can get it out to people so ones can have it for us to listen to. If then people want to buy audio,
Rastafari. I have that part of the speech that I was asking for, because it's, as they say, even before I read that part, it's a lot in the speech, and I always where the conversation is going, because it's more than just the speech now. It's the whole nature of what was taking place around the speech as one's highlight. It is deep. Even the civil rights, the civil rights era was at its peak at that time. Of course, we all know, even when the emperor came to the United States of America, when he was met by John F. Kennedy, that speech alone, has gone down in history. Anyone that has even observed the Honorable Priest Kailash, I know we watched that speech there about 1 million times. If you just observe how the Emperor would have received the words of Kennedy, you could see it from his heart when he said, Mr. President, or is it again? I can't remember now. Your speech has truly touched us. But the thing is, President Kennedy highlighted, just the reality of how the emperor in a very short time, would have brought independence. That's what Kennedy says it, that the emperor in a short time would have brought independence to dozens of African countries and Asian countries. This is what Kennedy was saying. He highlighted Haile Selassie as like, and I'm just paraphrasing here, as like, if not the main revolutionary fighter in the world, but definitely up there amongst them. And if you observe this, the interview that was done with Meet the Press in that same visit in 1963, one of the reporters asked the emperor about the whole aspect of assisting African states that are still under the colonial grip, when in the whole aspect of arming them and assisting them militarily.
Again, people, I'm telling you, said this is history. This is how great these people, them set a precedent, right? A precedent of righteousness, equal rights and justice. This is what people, they dedicate them life to, these great people. So when me see these people do them things here, right? Instead of me sit down here and tear down somebody and talk bad about people, me can go back and revisit these times and these moments when kings and queens did exist, when respect and virtue was something. It was practice, right? It was something that we practice. We own business, we own community, all of them things there. Alright, so if me want to dwell in the past, fine, let me sit down and dwell in the past, because those were the good past. If the moment went good, right now, mother dwell in the good moment. But me say, all I see now is things where it's not us. Me no know what you can call it, but me can't call that us. Me can definitely say them. But me can't call that us. As we proceed.
Militarily. And the emperor in his answer, as always, with all diplomacy, showed that, well, you understand, it's peace we're dealing with, and we prefer to speak the thing out. But if we have to, well, that's an option that is on the table. And if you listen to the interview, you'd see how the emperor would have put it across in his very diplomatic way. So if you understand the energy at that time, it was about human rights, bringing an end to colonialism.
And why should that change now? It should always be about human rights. And that's why I say people fight for everything. Fight for money, then fight for land, then fight for house, fight for love. But nobody no fight for humanity. Meanwhile, if you fight for humanity, you get everything else. One thing gives you everything, meanwhile everything gives you nothing. Because if you have everything else and no humanity, what do you have? Yesterday I asked a question, what's better than humanity? And if you have something better than humanity, are you happy? And I say no comment. As we proceed, people, because you know me already,
Colonialism, bringing an end to slavery. And then Kennedy himself was assassinated just a few weeks after Haile Selassie left, and Haile Selassie had to return for his funeral. But yeah, I could go on and on with that. Let me just read the part that the professor asked of. And it says here, on the issue of racial discrimination. So this part of the speech, racial discrimination, the Addis Ababa conference taught those who will learn this additional lesson until the philosophy that sustains a superior, I don't know if this is an interesting translation, a superior and inferior race is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned until there are no first and second class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is no more important than the color of his eyes, until basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all, regardless to race, that until that day, the dream of lasting peace and world citizenship and the rule of international morality will remain a fleeting illusion, haunted but never achieved, and until the ignoble and unhappy regime that keep our brothers in Angola, in Mozambique and South Africa, and in subhuman servitude have been shut down and destroyed, until intolerance and prejudice and malicious and inhuman selfishness have been replaced by understanding, tolerance, and goodwill, until all Africans stand up and speak like free human beings, equal in the eyes of all men, as they are in the eyes of heaven. Until that day, the African continent will not know peace. And just the last line, Africans will fight if required, and we know that we will win, since we trust in the victory of good over evil. And I will just leave it at that, and I will
Drop the mic, that's up, people. Because just him writing that and somebody read it, you can hear the power within the speech of how it's written and his thought, his manifestation. Okay, so one of the things I want to ask you then. Alright, since you're going to hate me for my skin, I can't hate you for your eye them. If your eye them not match my one, I can't hate you just for that. Just because your eyes them not match my eyes. Me personally, that make absolutely no sense. Absolutely. Me hate you because your eyes them different from my eyes. The color of your eye them different. At that man, how simple some things is. That coming like say one ants. One little ants I crawl upon the ground, right? That's how insignificant that idea is. So you have said just because of somebody's skin color, no other reason. Ah boy, that's why I say growing up and understanding some things. I know it still don't make no sense. It doesn't make no sense. So later on down when we start do some videos and hear people talk, why them hate when them don't know a person? Because some people hate you because somebody tell them to hate you, you know. The lady said it when Professor Griff did a highlight in a What's Black Culture, when she said her mother taught her not to like us, and she had to go explore. But how comes we not like each other and we not explore? Because a couple nights ago when I read the book about discuss, the book that right beside me, people, Atlas of the Heart, chapter 12. Discuss, right? It's just me nah leave the topic, you know, but me tell you say everything ties into where we are. That's why I said this is not like a TikTok thing. This is I go in a understanding and finding out and seeing if it can help. Not even 1 billion people, one person, 2 people. If it help 1, 2, 3 people, it's good. Right? We go through it and we read it, contempt. Where we have contempt for each other. And what a person who have contempt for other people will do. We've been through this, and as we go along, we're going to highlight them stuff here, because this stuff is so important. Alright. So I know, like say, the places that we're at is at some places, wait a minute, we're confused. No, there's no confusion. Because we are learn and I understand and I transform from one way of thinking to many different thoughts as we proceed.
Good over evil, and I will just leave it at that, and I will leave my comments at that until you come around again. Blessing now.
I want to jump in here. This speech was given, actually His Majesty was bringing the OAU Charter to deposit it with the United Nations. That was part of the whole ceremony. This is a very famous event. The second largest ticker tape parade in New York City history occurred with His Majesty famously getting out of his vehicle and walking the last way to the UN headquarters. Ticker tape parade. The streets were lined. This was a major event, not just in America but the world over. And when you talk about that section that he just read, what is he talking about until the philosophy? What philosophy are we talking about? He's talking about white supremacy. And he's very careful to outline that until the unhappy and ignoble regimes, you know, and he names some specific white supremacist regimes that were at that time dominating with apartheid regimes, the southern part of the continent, remembering that His Majesty was also arming the resistance. So this is not just words without works. This is a diplomatic push. And this is why at the end he says, we are confident that we will win, we Africans will fight, because he's letting them know that yes, we are appealing to the goodwill of the nation, but we're not depending on goodwill, or we're not naive, we're willing to fight for our rights. And this same white supremacy is the same beast that is raging right now, you know, with the colonial powers fighting, you know, to maintain their global hegemony against what has been termed the global South. So this is why we are confident that the world is headed toward world war, or is already in world war, as I say, because of the fact that, you know, when a beast is cornered is when it's most dangerous. And this is why His Majesty was coming ahead to warn the people that this is what's on the table. And if you take this direction, this is what's going to happen. We are living in the time where they took the other way. They did not take the off ramp that could have led us into
Barabbas. Okay, so people will say, you see, there's always people right through our history that try to educate us and teach us, look, there's a better way. We have the ability. We have so much more. But how is it so enticing to create the devil? Huh? How is it so enticing for us to give up the greatness? So we're in at the time now where it's not us. We're in the time where it's not us. That's what I'm going to call it. We're in the time of it's not us. Proceed, professors.
Where they took the other way. They did not take the off ramp that could have led us into an unparalleled age of prosperity. So we are headed toward, what has been termed as apocalypse. All this, you can call it what you want to call it, but the key is that His Imperial Majesty is saying that until these basic, the way that the people of the earth are viewed, until we deal with that, we're always going to have these conflicts, and we're seeing the double standards, when it comes on to the Palestinian cause, to what's happening in Ukraine, where one is deemed a war crime, the other is deemed self-defense. All of these things are happening, in opposition to, again.
It says here AI that.
Okay, so again, how these people know say them things is gonna come to pass? Eh? And them people never have no crystal ball, them never have no internet, they never have no Google. How is it that the thought them what them people have was so strong, so it passed through history and time to make the past, present, and the future without change? I say the future without change because that's the only thing we can do is to change it. But it can't change unless we change ourselves. We talk about the mentality of mindset when it's mind fluidity. We can't have a mindset when there's changes. And we have to be able to accept changes. We are the only ones stuck, stuck in a something when we are the people them way find a way to broke color barrier. Eh? We find a way to break color barrier, but we stuck. We broke something where is impossible. Man make a car where run without gas, run without battery, right? The man makes something impossible. Come on, people. It's rocket scientists, we have them too. We have it. Except the courage to accept it. That's why I'm saying more. We have so much more. We have so much more. We are walking we are walking science. We are walking science. We are walking scientists. Okay, how much laboratory you ever see we build? You ever see anyone who ever invent a laboratory before? People will tell us, and I say, I am just looking at the humor of how great we are, that we don't appreciate the greatness that we are. That's the only thing that I'm looking at. That's why I'm saying it's so comical sometimes when we argue over the frivolous things. Them when it doesn't, them things they never matter. Those things is not even gonna lead to not even invent a toothbrush, but we find a different way to brush your teeth. Right? Just because we worry and argue over the frivolous things. Meanwhile, great leaders, great men think about great things and accomplish great things. I could proceed.
Off-ramp His Majesty gave the world. So what we really have to understand with this speech is that His Majesty is telling the world, that all of these borders and boundaries that have been set up, this is the members of the new race concept, that until we really look at this as a human race, and human race doesn't mean that it lacks diversity. That doesn't mean that it's an amalgamation and all of this.
And here, people, them things are key, because that's one of the things. I say, even though we are different, like we are the same color, we still can't have different culture within the same color and don't have to argue about who cook oxtail with butter bean and who cook it with broad bean. How we can adapt, man? You see, those things are the frivolous. Me try it your way and you try it my way. And sometimes you got to cook it your, so you have different options. UIC, the same thing we talk about. At least you guys have options. We just rigid in how we think and how we feel about certain things. Sure. Can we proceed, people? Can we proceed? Yes, we can.
Is an amalgamation and all of this, because if you look, as Atarchi said, we secure the OAU first. You know, we make sure Africa is secure. We are part of the non-aligned movement as well, which will be established a few years later. With the, before there was the Global South or BRICS, there was a non-aligned nation bloc. So all of these things, to say that we are a global family, that we respect diversity, we respect our brothers, but at the same time, we're not going to divide ourselves by race or these things. We are going to celebrate our culture because that culture, diversity, makes us strong. But we're not going to discriminate or treat people wrong. And that hasn't happened. And again, we want to touch upon the solution part of it, but that's just the frame where we are,
Honorable Kailash, you want to say something before we go to the next topic?
Take the mic and go.
Yeah. Okay, I muted myself. Yeah. Well, give thanks. I mean, as we speak of human rights, this is the critical. This is like, the Declaration of Human Rights. The basic tenets are supposed to be guaranteeing your sovereignty as a human being. That is supposed to be something that allows us to actually operate within the human family with a level of freedom and a level of sovereignty where you can stand up like a man and just be yourself. That's why I like to look at where we are using the ancient African principles of from center to circumference. As the Honorable said, the Emperor began with the OAU in Africa. Yet still, it is a time whereby if we really if we condense it like an atom and squeeze everything together, it will come to you, I and I. How do each individual begin to manifest the words of His Imperial Majesty from center to circumference? Then that it is every essence can begin to vibrate, and transform and begin to move creation. Because most times what happens is that if we recall, as when you look at the video of the trip when Kennedy is actually, shaking the emperor hands and how he bows, and then he said in a decade he single-handedly, so which is critical. So that is the title where the emperor received the Prince of Peace. He single-handedly. That's in a decade, in 10 years. Almost what I mean. 10, I mean, it was. I think it was for 20-something countries, in Africa. And within that same time on the world tour, when he fly into Egypt and Sudan was at, the wars were fighting, he was just, stopping the wars in Africa. So even when, it wasn't like when you have the warmongers now, these so-called presidents nowadays just talking. The emperor would jump on the plane and fly to these African countries that were in war, and stop the wars. So it is critical that even as we look at the emperor as a human being, as a person with flesh, with teeth and bone and hair and perspire, then we have to comprehend that when people saw this small statured man, when you listen to the testimonies they saw something much greater than just a small.
They saw something. People. He felt that. He know that. I'm ready at greatness. And that's why I'm trying to show and say, we're not talking about light at the end of the tunnel. We're not at the light in the tunnel. There is no opportunity for any light to be at no end of no tunnel if there's not you, the light. So when uno ready yet to no energy, that me say with the smile. You see a genuine smile, man. I talk about that already with the colors. When you have a genuine smile, or you can light up the room. We are reason up people because I'm telling you, sometimes people think say just because them don't see people will feel the same way them feel, them can't reason within themselves. Them can't look upon different perspective. Until you meet them people there, nothing can stop you from thinking and feeling positive within yourself and outside yourself. As we proceed, people.
Than just a small statured man. That the power, the authority, what exudes through his temple was phenomenal, right? So when this man uttered, his words were not just words; they were like swords. They pierce and they shift and they manifested. So I'm saying this to say that.
Okay, and that's true too because. Words penetrate straight in your brain. That's true. That's why hurtful, repetitive words will hurt people. It's a psychological thing. All of them things are real enough. That's why I'm going to say it's all we talk to each other. That's why more time I'd rather not say nothing, rather not say nothing. Because anything I might say or I feel it might come off the wrong way. And sometimes, yes, you have to admit you want to come off the wrong way too, yes. So instead of you say it and say, oops, that's not what I meant, you just don't say nothing, for me. So when I don't say nothing, then I have to go within myself and change up the words, rearrange everything so it doesn't come out anything close to how it's not supposed to come out. So you can rearrange your thought them and how you feel about anything and everything. But sometimes me say, now make him drive me out. You know what, go already. But when people say them things, they not make him draw you out or not make you draw you out, that means that whatever they're saying, it's supposed to do that. And when them draw you out, it's never nothing good that comes out. That's why I'm say, the language that we speak and how devastating it is to each other. Manners, respect, oh yeah, balance. As we proceed, Professor.
Sweat glands and all these different things, and urinate and defecate like the emperor, in that human nature. It is critical that work begin from a self perspective, and then even within our own solar system, we might not, because remember, most times as a people, as a society, it is very difficult for I and I just to highlight the greatness of I and I own self. And sometimes a man have to die for. That's why you must practice, just glorifying people. I mean, the works that even the man and them on the panel doing in their own little solar system, what it takes to do what we have to do, deciding to do it. Because remember, we became Rastafari, which is like a new race, right? And then the professor they decide to be as he is. Remember him as a professor at U, and then going on and do consultation with all the police and them within the Caribbean region and organizing security and cannabis and all different type of thing, choosing to do that with a locks in that race.
Choosing to do that to the locks in the people, you see? I love these conversations, man. And them marathon thing I'm gonna do. If you just listen to how people reason and talk about society and the upliftment and the building of better human beings. I tell you how much books I read. I read a lot. I don't read 100 books a year. But I tell you, say, before you could never find me without a book. One book in my pocket, two in my bag. Because the space within your mind is so vast. You can put so much information in there. And the best thing you can put in there is positive information. Great people. It's like saying them get attached to you. And that's how I feel ever since I start go through this, It's like I'm attached to these people now. Because of them greatness.
Different type of thing. Choosing to do that with a locks in that race. Yet still, if you had a suit and a tie, that'd be easy, Right now you'd have a vice chancellor, So at the end of the day, we are the new race, we are the people of Rastafari, and allowing ourselves to be able to visualize ourselves as the God, our God self, that having that same divinity and power that His Imperial Majesty has blessed us with, that we will actually move forward and actually continue the work. So when I say from center to circumference, I'm saying that la lucha continua, His Imperial Majesty is within I and I. And though that we might feel that as he say, as the Christians would say, well, Christ built the foundation and we build on it. I and I still building on that foundation, and I just want to shed that light in that aspect to say, well, that I and I then begin to work within I and I own self and begin to manifest, that same speech in the flesh within our own little solar systems, that we could form that macrocosmos that could cause that great shift. When you tell the bomb, when they try to press the button, the nuclear bomb, and then it says, stop! That power just to freeze them, I do believe that, that we have, that level of power that, the emperor actually, not demonstrated, but actually not even illustrated, because, showed the world, that great power, that potential, to actually stop and bring peace to the world. My Lord.
And there is something I really want to ask them. I know it's a topic. This is next segue perfectly into the next topic, to the spirituality of Rastafari, same speed scene. And I feel like most youths were conflicted. I see a lot of youth conflicted all heap of time, and it's Rastafari really bring them to a glory and a redemption within themselves. So I would have loved for them even share how them even come to sight enough Rastafari up on a level, because I feel like a lot of youths reads with a lot of youths, and them type of story there and revelations there towards youths, I feel like it really opened them up to really have a different outlook at life, same way. So I like to know how them come towards Rastafari and how the spirituality of Rastafari really draw them in. Because I think Rastafari is a type of a liberty where it's more mental. It's a mental thing, because like how I mentioned, the powers of Haile Selassie I, the speech is itself, you see a sharp man, I bring it forward and so confident, and it a filled with facts too and not just talking. So it is a mental type of stimulation. So I really like to know how the spiritual, on a spiritual side of things now, how them come towards Rastafari and how that help towards the development, and how we can use the same type of process in itself to see way if you even build up on the thought process and the mentality where you most youths have in this time too, you know? Black youths to see African youths, you know?
And far right, I'm glad you I'm glad you went into that. And while you're speaking about that, can you add the ability of Rastafari to transform a person? Because many times we speak about, let's say, Nation of Islam, right? That ability to transform man into his higher self, into a disciplined person, into a principled person, into an ambitious person. But while you are talking, please add how Rastafari has the capability to do so for those who truly tried. I'm not talking about a dread thing, but I'm talking about those who really take up the tribe, that ability to transform the essence of their being into a greater person. While speaking about your experience.
Dead upon mute.
What knife? Hold on.
Yes, all right. I hear it. Yeah.
In less than 24 hours, you will have
It always comes up to the good part. Always a commercial. I said, them AI, yeah, they know what them are doing now. I know if it work the thing. I'm tell you, sometimes when people are commercial, them commercial are for y'all longer than the program where y'all watch. I don't understand how they can call that commercial instead of they just call it a program for themselves. I'm gonna have them on YouTube channel.
Fundamentally, Rastafari is about self-acceptance and self-actualization, you know. You know, it's as when I Bubba Virgin said to I say Rastafari is an awakening and Haile Selassie I is a path towards enlightenment. And a lot of youths are being awakened to the consciousness of what being is. You have Rastafari ones who are religious, but Rastafari is not a religion, it's a liberty. So ones will speak about Rastafari to religious books. But you know the truth, still universal. Enough paths to the mountaintop, but once there the view is still the same. You know, so it's about self-actualization, it's self-acceptance. Now, if one really accepts self, you know, so there's no limitation. Rastafari says some simple things. As a youth, I hear the Rastaman say, Rastafari I believe, Rastafari I know. See, Rastafari I believe, Rastafari I know. You see?
And that's self-awareness though, man. That's a self-awareness. That's one of the things I have the conversation with my nephew about. When you make certain decision, don't you make it by you being aware of these? Nobody not tell you, you know. So this is what I try to show you. Sometimes or we confuse or we think with how other people tell we how we think. Remember, people can't give you suggestion, you know. You can't force anybody. Them if you want do it for themselves. This is why I say the journey that I'm on, I've been on it my whole life. I've always I seek and I find myself, and I make sure say nobody can tell me who I'm not. Because the thing about it, nobody ever tells you who you are. Them not tell you say you're great. Them not tell you about your unlimited ability. Them not tell you if you own your own business, become your own self-reliance. Because most of the time people look at it as a competition if you're doing good. Meanwhile, if you're doing good, that means it's inspiration for them to be doing good too. You can't only be happy for the people who wants to be happy with what they're doing. So if you're not happy, it's fine. Me happy for you. Oh, me I got to say, oh, me not happy for you. What is that gonna give me? other than a negative energy that I just created by not liking your positive. As we proceed, because sometimes the in-depthness of us, I will miss some more time to make the things them work so simply, As we proceed.
You see, a believer accept the information when them get. The persons who know a seek and them continuously seek, them like a seek and them always seek more information. And becoming self is a process. All beings in a state of constant becoming. And the more you find self. What Rastafari do is that Rastafari take you beyond the timelines of religion as well. Because once you say Haile Selassie I, you have to search through Ethiopia. And the further into Ethiopia you search, you have to find other spaces. So it remove all of those boundaries. So you have to find when you have these youths in this time, whether it's Rastafari or not, they are in the age of mentalism. It's the age of knowing them in their prayer age, which is the same exact symbol the man them use to represent Haile Selassie I coronation. There's a symbol for the appearance age, the age of mentalism, the ear age. These youths are youths who are on a path of knowing. And so, the way Rastafari live, in terms of man say, all right, they are supposed to sit as idle as they can sit. You have to treat iration a particular kind of way. The ethic, the philosophy, the guide liberty of Rastafari is what is being embraced globally. It's not only Rastafari that have those kind of philosophy. I anchor to the Ethiopia.
Okay, and that's one of the things with the veganism too. I tell you, say everything when I did grow up and people talk about Rasta and everything, I never saw it. I never see the things where them say, because that's not how Rasta is. The true Rasta them are peaceful people. I tell you about the very first fight, not the very first fight, but the very first time I encountered the Rasta man at school. I'm a little bit and we are fight and him forward with the rod in him hand. And him look pan way, and just the way the man just calm and collective, just like how them big man are conversate, And him sure we say we are brothers and we're not supposed to fight. I tell you when I got the Rasta festival and how me eat up the food. me love up the food and no salt. And in my mind, me just say the only thing missing is salt. And I understand say food can't taste good without salt. Hence my sodium free sauces. No. I'm just saying, people, Rasta religion have influences on me too, because most of them is vegetarian, vegan. Before them name they come in, it was just ital. Them healthy, them bush. Them use them creative artwork with everything. It's like the same thing the man said, it's like a different race. Because within them culture it's so different from everybody else, but everybody else fight against something where they're not capable of doing. Because me can't leave my pork. So because them not eat pork, I don't like them. Maybe that's one of the big thing too, I don't know. I just say, them fight against Rasta people. It's crazy. And everything where them a do, it's where them a do now. But them not get no credit for where them did I do then. Because when I tell you, say, when I look a bit, I see my grandfather in boil the bush tea, in boil the weed. Seeing? I see him broke up the stick them and put it in the rum bottle. Call it medicine. Seeing all of the things that I see as a kid, the righteous, clean liberty. It was pretty much Rasta liberty. The true Rasta them, the one them where have them queen and them dress them son in the same clothes, and them used to have Rasta walk around with broom, or a little bit I sell broom. There's many things where it just it have something where it clarify in your mind. You see, the poet when me do where them say where she say how she grew up in a community. Everybody own businesses. Right? So in a fear mind clear. So when she come on around with the poet them write about sufferation and this and that and she said, but that's not how I see it. And them I say, well, I saw you have to write it because that's how we want it. And I tell you, say she write many articles for them, but she never agree with what they're saying. She just write it because she get paid, whatever. But when she start write how she felt, this is where the problem comes in. So as long as you can agree with people and how they feel about certain things, it's okay. But as long as your view comes in, that's where the issue comes in. As we proceed, people, because me tell you, say it's for us to understand, you know, it's a present, past, and future, and it's a circle. Our existence is a circle, and we can't deny that. And I say, even though the Rasta culture is different from our culture, within our Africanism, then it still should be accepted. As we proceed.
But you have people like Asia and India who have that liberty for ancient time as well. So, and one said the way the eye tried physically will also impact the iris as well. You know, so it's the age. It's the age. People have become more accepting of self in many places. Even a way which I might not want to accept, but they have become more accepting of self. And Rastafari reminds people, it helps to guide you and never put you upon that path of self-discovery and self-acceptance, which is really self-actualization.
And it's all about self. And it's not selfish. It's self-aware. So if you're self-aware, you know, so the bread can't share between all of uno, right? Selfish when you name after all bread and not left none. So that's why I say, for greatness, right? It's a way of thinking. The moment we give that up is when we lose ourselves. This is why I say all of these programs where I highlight and these people, I tell you say Haile Selassie I know, but I them I speak about him from a different perspective. So obviously I'm gonna do a part 2 and then read about him history and go down and see. But how him fit in a today's society, he fits. Because equal rights and justice is one of the things them what he was looking at.
Selassie I. Yeah, man, give thanks. Yeah, give thanks again, you know, for being in this blessed audience here as we, you know, speak as once asking about coming into Rastafari and how Rastafari, if I have the question right, you know, can organize the youth and the generations to come and, yeah, basically that's it going forward. You see, and I'm thankful for that aspect. Although I think I had plenty things to say on the other topic with Haile Selassie and the UN speech, man, just listening to the Honorable Priest Kailash and the professor going, I was saying, yeah, when I come again, I have some things to put on the table because that subject by itself is so intense, and I give thanks to them rising it. It deserves a little more, maybe. Yes. Not now, but that's a serious topic we just started there a moment ago, I tell you. But give thanks for rising it. But equally important, you know, going forward as far as us as Rastafari. And you see, Rastafari is a very deep thing. We might say it's simple, but it's deep. It's very layered. You know, it's a theology, it's a government, it's a diplomacy, it's industry, it's business, it's spirituality, it's a culture, it's anciency. You know, it has its own historical framework. It's a redemption movement. You know, it is Black Power. It's a return to, you know, the original man and woman creational. That's one thing that it's love. You see, so the Rastafari thing is a very deep, deep vibration. And where we need to take this thing, you know, right now, we all as Rastafari, we say Rastafari is here to save the world and all of this thing. Rastafari need some serious leadership. In general, however you want to put it, whether you want to talk of houses and mansions, is one thing about the houses and mansions. Every house and mansion know what's going on in the other house and mansion. So you can see we're just one big family. Rastafari not just need leadership in general, not only need to accept, because leadership is there too, but the leadership as well need to just continue to lead. Now all what I say is actually happening as we speak. It may not be as easy to pick up, but this is something that, you see, in the future, we have to look at this thing futuristically. And as much as we talk about a government and all of that, people will get old and pass out, and you know, we don't want to leave other people just talking this talk. And most of us who are here sitting down, I mean, we have our own story to tell. And sometimes dealing with principle and even dealing with brotherhood and sisterhood, sometimes you yourself have to make a decision where you say, well, listen, I seem to have a little different direction here, a different outlook than the rest of the brotherhood. I think I need to go and establish this on my own. Now, you see, that's very serious, you know, because a lot of us, we talk about uniting. We talk about coming together. And many times when we come together, we really can't stick together. And again, the whole aspect of the lack of education and a strong level of ignorance sometimes amongst us, the seriously slow, the trade. So you see, those of us who have the right mindset, because the mindset is very important. For one reason or the other, whether it's circumstance or whether it's just us one.
Mindset. We just allow about the mindset, because we tell you it can be a mindset. But again, it's what we accept. Yes? And it's hard for people to change into something where they're not familiar with. As we proceed.
Ignorant, a lot of us, we haven't caught up to the right mindset. One of the main aspects of our mindset is that subconsciously we love poverty. We do not, whether we know it or not, even if we think we're good at the hustle and we're making a rack or two, we're not really penetrating on the massive goal of rising a kingdom and building an empire. Not just to say it, you know, but to literally implement ways to get this done. That is why, you know, me and most of us sitting down here again, we have decades in this. And I'm sure many of us, we've been to conferences, we've been to meetings, we've been to gatherings, we've tried this and that. This is a new thing, this new organization in Rastafari, all mansions, all houses, elders, this, elders. And Rastafari at this moment still have not, to me, no offense, shown to the world as a nation, a group, or any one of the little groups them by themselves, that yeah, these people are ready to rule the world. Not doom and gloom, you know. I would hope and pray that we get in there. But still, again, sometimes amongst ourselves, we're not ready to accept even the leadership that we have right now. And you know when leadership is amongst you, because leadership have ideas. Leadership have things that working already. You know, things already in motion and in movement. But again, the mindset. And most of us, we are not and don't really want to be truly business oriented.
That mindset. Yeah, because some people have their mindset. This is the problem. Just saying it over and over make it becomes something that you're not supposed to say. Just like me tell you say, I love AI strike on for that every time when I say that word there, right? That's what I'm just say over and over. That I love to do. Yeah, all of the word them I want to say, I just make AI strike on your feet. How long? That I try to show you. I bet you that stop say them words there. But if somebody telling us say them words there is not good words, wanna still say it same way, not true. Mine. Say people. When a favorite word, no leave them alone, you know. The other next one is the bad. Jeez, people.
When I say business oriented, everybody wants to make $1, but most of us, we are afraid of abundance when the earth is created with abundance. The earth, the literal planet that we're on, has more than enough for every single thing. Every single thing has more than what it needs on this planet. Whether it's an ant, whether it's a tree, whether it's whatever it needs, whether it's water, whether it's breeze, whether it's oxygen, food, sunshine, everything has everything in abundance, including us. We have been caught up into a capitalistic system that has turned it a certain way, but you can still break out of it with the right mindset. And to me, in conclusion, that is where Rastafari need to start to focus now and get this thing organized in a structural way. In curriculum, curriculi, or syllabus, and all this other books and DVD documentaries, and schools and the full works, healthcare, education system, all sorts of infrastructure, land, international airport. Hey, that's where we have to start the thing. Because we're a government. My Lord, the land voice continually